Well, good evening, everybody. I say good evening because it's very rare I do these. I tend to do these videos in the morning or afternoon when it's light. You can probably see from the backdrop. It's dark and it's, what is it, 10:30. I feel compelled to do this. Again, there's no script with this one. I just had a very strange feeling a couple of hours ago. And it just came over me about what's going on in America and by definition what's going on in the world. And we are about to enter the revelation of what's been planned for God knows how long. And it's going to have a massive impact. Well, a load of people have said this. But for whatever reason, perhaps this is triggered by a long conversation with a very close friend of mine who has his finger on the pulse about all these things. And I regard my life as having two purposes, primarily to help people wake up to the reality of what's going on, and secondly, to be able to rise above that, to realise their potential to heal and to reject the insanity of the death grip that humanity has been held in for thousands of years. And as it's released and as things change, it's almost as if part of my life purpose is fulfilled. And I say my life purpose, for God's sake, there's millions of us. I'm just an incredibly small cog in a rather big machine. But that's what it's been. That's what it's been about. That's what I do. That's who I am. And part of me feels an impending sense of loss, which sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Because, you know, we're heading towards a golden age. All that I've worked for, that I've dreamt of and wanted, like everybody watching this who's into all this kind of thing, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I suspect some of you may be going through the same thing. That's probably why I'm doing this. But of course, and you could say, well, the journey's coming to an end, but it isn't, because the journey's just beginning, because when the excrement finally does hit the fan, and it's probably halfway across the room as we speak, there's going to be a massive amount of work to help people psychologically through this, and that is my next step. And I suppose the two areas I'm going to concentrate on is captured in the title of two of the books I'm currently writing. I've nearly finished one called Love Heals. It's about the power of love to heal the body physically, mentally and spiritually and emotionally, and also the power of love in relationships, conscious relationships. Two of the most important, well, if you think about it, I don't need to qualify how important those things are. And then secondly, realising your potential, rising above this, realising you're not a useless eater, someone condemned to a life of quiet desperation. And that's captured in the book You Are God's, and that's what Jesus said. You don't have to be religious to believe all that, but 2.2 billion people on the planet call themselves Christians, and it doesn't matter what you believe, what you don't believe. That's the world's biggest religion. And religion has its faults, but it also has massive implications for the way we've been conditioned. So that's it, really. I'm not sure what else to say, because it seems almost inappropriate to do this, given what's going on. And, you know, many people are ahead of the curve. Far more people are ahead of the curve than I am. I wouldn't say I'm ahead of the curve. I'm ahead of the curve compared to the mask wearers trudging down the street, cringing and jumping out of the way of people and jumping into traffic, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? But in terms of ahead of the curve as regards what's going on in America, Trump's inner circle, the white hats and the non-terrestrials, all that is way, way beyond what I'm aware of at the moment. But that applies to everybody. And think about this for a minute. All these people who say to you, well, I know what's going on and I'm this, and, you know, you heard it here first. Well, yes, you didn't. You certainly won't hear me saying that, because all we can do is anticipate. We can draw upon a number of sources. And the fact remains is, because this is a war, World War III, World War IV, call it what the hell you want, information war, are the good guys going to reveal their strategies? Are they going to leak some of it out, and some of it may be disinformation? So I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up by saying, I hope the next one I come out, I've got a huge smile on my face permanently. I say hope more for my own personal point of view, because it's a done deal. That's it. I mean, sorry, It's going to shock people to the core, but for those of us who've been following this and tracking it, we do know, and we know, possibly. Of course. So all I can do is wish you a wonderful time, wish you an incredible future, because that's what awaits us. And you know what? For those of you who still doubt this, I've got to the point where I don't care, because if the alternative were to happen, which it won't, then it's so incomprehensible, so dark, that there's not much point hanging around anyway. So you can't lose, can you? Look forward to a fabulous future, or you might as well get off the planet if it's going to be the black hats and the dark side. But of course it isn't. Because I would leave you with this one final thought. If evil was to triumph, then ultimately it would implode. Now, don't ask me to explain that now, but just reflect on it. Evil, the balance, the pendulum, we know we live in a world of light and dark, of duality, but the pendulum's been far too over onto the dark side for far too long. Now it's going to get back to the middle. There's still going to be black and white, there's still going to be darkness, but not to the extent there has been, because all our lives have been suppressed. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to. Have a great time. Love you all. Namaste. Bye.